you think Britain is becoming the lazy man of Europe again?
No, I think Jeremy Hunt is operating some very lazy dog whistle politics here. I mean, he should be concentrating. What he's trying to do is get the electorate to look the other way from the absolute bonfire that they've created in the British economy. There are £16 million in unclaimed benefits, and there's £300 billion in tax that's been avoided by the rich. And my favourite part of his very disingenuous speech is when he said he's going to offer therapy and medical support to get the sick and disabled back into work as well. I mean, does he not know what state the NHS is in? He probably doesn't, because he doesn't have to use it.
Well, indeed, actually, as per my manifesto just a few minutes ago, I think that if you're unable to go to work because of your health, then you should not. But there are plenty of people, May Mangan, who can work, who don't. Let's be honest.
Well, who's going to decide who they are? I don't know. I mean, I haven't tried to claim benefits recently, but lots of people I know have. And it is not an easy process. And there are already sanctions in place for those who won't look for work, who aren't doing their best to get off benefits. So this is just a story. This is Jackanory from Hunt, who wants their electorate to think that they're doing all they can. We've heard this before on the NHS, on the police, on crime. I mean, there's so many things, so many empty promises that he's made. This is just one more load of nonsense, really.
Well, Neil Hamilton, I don't think it's Jackanory. I don't think it's a tall tale. The figures speak for themselves. 8 sick days a year on average. The economy just can't afford that.
Well, let's look at the other big figures here. Since the start of the COVID pandemic, our working population has diminished by 860,000. And those who are economically inactive in the population have increased by 650,000. And in 2022 alone, the number of vacancies that were waiting to be filled went up by 500,000. So the number of jobs available has been going up, whereas the number of people who want to fill them has been dramatically falling. So, what we just heard is the real nonsense here. What Jeremy Hunt is saying is, of course, perfectly sensible. Well, he's talking about 100,000 a year. This is peanuts compared with not just the number of people who are economically inactive, but those who are doing unproductive jobs. Or what about those who are shirking from home? Half the civil service is working from home. In some departments, 71% of those who are employed by us, the taxpayer, are working from home. And I don't know whether others know all the temptations of working from home, but it's a dramatic reduction in productivity, which probably has occurred as a result of all that.
Neil, I think you're an outrageous hypocrite. Look at you. You're shirking from home. Christine's probably just poured you a large sherry. May...
The difference is that we are self-employed, and so if we don't work, we don't earn. And I'm very pleased that I'm working at this very moment.
Fair play to you.
9:30 at night.
Fair play to you. May Mangan, I will have viewers and listeners to this show who will say that either they know someone or they themselves haven't had a day off work for 50 years. But now, 8 days a year on average, businesses can't afford that. It's going to cripple them.
Do you know that 1 in 2 people in this country get cancer now? And there's a lot of unseen disabilities, a lot of mental health illnesses. So you can't judge people. The majority of people go to work, do a good job, but they are very angry at the state of the economy, their bills, their interest rates, their fuel, their petrol. In fact, talking of cars and petrol, this reminds me of the Norman Tebbit get on your bike moment that switched off so many of the electorate who actually couldn't find work because of their own, not because of their own laziness, but because of the other difficulties. So, this is just Tory rhetoric being regurgitated again. Jeremy Hunt should focus on his job, a job, by the way, he was put into by an unelected Prime Minister.
Neil Hamilton, closing remarks. Give me 10 seconds if you can.
Well, we have an economy which could be much greater than it is. the government has done nothing to take advantage of the freedoms which Brexit brought. We've done very little to get rid of the huge burden of unnecessary regulation. We need to give more people incentives to go out and to work harder through reducing taxation. We've had 13 years of Conservative government that's been behaving like Keir Starmer's government would work. So in the last few days, we've actually heard some inklings of real Conservative policies, such as dumping this net zero target, although it's only for 5 years, and in other ways, which we could vastly increase the productive potential of the economy. We want a high wage economy that only comes from having high productivity.